This is Morten from Inkish. I'm reporting here from Printing United in Las Vegas. And I'm talking to a guy that I have never met before, but I am quite excited about it. So Jim from Numo.
Nice to see you.
Jim, before we talk about your relationship with SpencerMetrics, tell me a little bit about your company. What do you do?
So we're in the promotional products world. We do a lot of cutting and sewing. We digitally print sublimation paper, and then we also do a lot of analog screen printing.
And I mean, that is seems to me like a growing market. Is that correct, or?
I think it is. Yeah, the size of the industry continues to grow. Yeah. So.
And I mean, when you look at growing a business, because I mean, if you do a lot of, let's say, stupid things, right? And you grow doing the stupid things, the errors just get bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. We're pretty stupid too, so we're really good at making lots and lots of mistakes. So.
And then you told me that a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think it was like, then you started to realize that, okay, you need to have better data for making the right decision. So you started working with SpencerMetrics, right? So just for people to understand, what is SpencerMetrics? I mean, it is of course some software, but there's also more, right?
Yeah, for us, it's a lot about data collection and understanding what's going on our shop floor, and then the software that they have that helps us see. It's kind of a comprehensive kind of full package for us, both from sensors on presses all the way through to reporting and data visualization. So it's from soup to nuts. It allows us to see and understand what's going on all of our presses at any given point in time. So yeah, it's pretty robust.
And just to make that story a little bit more complex, you're working out of Texas and your production is in Mexico, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Mexico. And we're all based in Texas. So we spend some time in the factory in Mexico, but yeah, and you know, everything going on overnight is, yeah, it's a lot. So
when you started to realize that you needed this better data, I guess that the first time you see something popping up on the screen where you see how machines are actually performing, was it some wow experiences?
Yeah, it was pretty enlightening. I don't know if it was wow good or wow bad or wow we have a lot of work to do, right? But yeah, wow's a good way to put it.
Yeah. What was the biggest surprise? I mean, because I guess there's always like a longer term like experience of getting data, and then there's like the instant kind of moments, right?
I think for our floor leads and the people that are actually working with press operators, I think it was enlightening for them to see what they thought intuitively in terms of who may be a good operator or what team might be a good operator. I think some of that was reinforced, and I think sometimes also they were learning, okay, maybe not so much. So just kind of being able to take a step back and look at the floor from a less kind of granular level was really, really surprising to everyone in the organization. Kind of things that we may have suspected, we both were learning were true or false, and it created a really good opportunity for us to have a dialogue with everyone around like the actual truth in the data. So it was super helpful.
So I mean, when you have that kind of, let's say, facts in your face, right?
Yeah.
How did the employees react on it? Because I mean, you said there could be like I'm the best operator in this company, and then they realized that they were only the second best, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. We had a lot of that. A lot of it also, I think for us, leads in understanding availability of equipment and the right ways for them to set up their operators to be successful. I think that was another big win that they were able to pick up pretty quickly. So yeah.
So the human factor, of course, played a big like aha kind of moment for you guys. What about, I guess that when we talk about the technology, that can also, that we thought it ran so fast or it was so efficient. What was the reality?
I mean, there's a big gap, right? There's a pretty considerable disparity, and one of the benefits of SpencerMetrics is being able to actually kind of narrow that gap and see that gap narrow over time. Has been really, really powerful for us. And it's been good for our operators, good for our leads, good for everyone in that sense.
So the pure fact that people can now monitor for themselves basically their performance and get the facts in their face has given them an incentive to perform maybe not better, but more efficient.
I think, knowledge is power, right? Yeah, I definitely think that I think maybe less so from an operator perspective, and definitely much more so from a lead and a supervisor perspective, understanding what's going on in the presses, understanding what's happening when they're idle, and that's the biggest leak is idle presses, right? And for whatever reason, being able to capture that and understand, it's not so much about about operators moving faster as much as availability of the press.
So that basically also makes it possible for you to identify, let's say, bottlenecks throughout the production, because I mean, it doesn't help to buy the fastest printing press in the world if you have pre-press problems.
1,000%, right? Yeah, setup times are super critical, and being able to have that visibility again at a macro level and also at that really granular level is it's powerful for us. So
when you look at the use of data, does that also help you in looking into new investments in how to find equipment that fits the bill? Or
yeah, for sure. That's another big thing that we learned. We kind of had a strategy for how we wanted to set up our floor, or how we believed our floor was best run. And what we've learned is maybe not so much. We ran a lot of smaller presses, thinking that was a better way to run. And what we've learned is, hey, maybe a few larger presses and consolidating operators and being able to manage that throughput and OEE based on it's a lot easier to do that on larger presses than it is on a series of smaller presses. So yeah
I get
definitely.
That. Yeah. Few last questions here. I was just wondering because again, when you get so much data, I guess that sometimes it must also be a little bit difficult to, let's say, comprehend all that data and actually make it into some actionable kind of actions, right? How are you doing with that?
So it's a challenge. I think it's definitely, and for us, we're very directional in how we manage and how and it's really trying to understand kind of how to just narrow these gaps between the theoretical and the actual. And it's kind of a journey, so to speak. So I think it's not so much trying to track down every last cycle on a press as much as, okay, what is our total throughput over the course of a day, over the course of a week, over the course of a month? And small little changes there can have big impacts financially, have big impacts on staffing, have big impacts on a wide array of things on our floor. So
how big is Numo?
So we run about 1,000 people in Mexico. So yeah.
So it's a quite big operation, basically, right? Yeah. And you had it for 3 years now. Is that something where you can see a relatively fast ROI, or is it something where you're just wondering how you make money on it? Or?
Oh, for sure. No, I think for us, we've expanded it from our analog screen print presses into our digital room. And because we saw the benefits from it very quickly, we've seen even more benefits in the digital room quickly than we did on the floor with our screen printers. And then we also do a lot of sewing, and we're strategizing how we can continue to push that into other areas on our floor, in our factory. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Great.
Fantastic story. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks very much.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking with you.